Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful Lake Akim, teaching and preaching this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. This is Ak Yahweh. Today's lesson is entitled, A New Way to Create and Present an ID. And Lord willing, you be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, which are the true names of the Heavenly Father and His beloved Son in the Paleo Hebrew. And as always, the sit-downs, the lessons, the street speaking, it's for the remnant, the elect, the Israel, the Most High, to use the gospel preached. And as we stand upon our watch, we're looking at the different things that's going on in the world, whether it's geopolitics, whether it's the finances, whether it's the tech world, whether it's local news. All right. We see that the prophecies or the counsel of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is standing. And a part of the prophecies of the counsel of the Lord is that the global elites whose biblical nationality is Esau, Edom, they have an agenda to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a device under the skin. And with it, you'll be able to buy and sell and identify yourself in this new system. All right. And leading up to this new system being implemented, it's going to be different economic woes, economic instability. All right. This old system is getting phased out. So Esau, Edom, which the prophecies speak about, these devils are set up to take peace from the earth. All right. They're going to take peace away by taking away your comfort. All right. The Constitution, human rights, all these different avenues of life people been accustomed to is finna be phased out. All right. You have artificial intelligence, AI, you have innovation, you have all this technology being pushed out. People are losing their jobs. People are losing their homes. People are losing their cars. You know, you had the government shutdown, which is now open again. You know, a lot of people were furloughed, you know, and they talking about people that are on EBT, they got to reapply. So, you know, a lot of things is happening. Esau, Edom is shaking the pot, which it's the Heavenly Father that's doing it, but he's using Esau, Edom to, you know, to perform these different things on the earth. And leading up to the implementation of the MOTB, the implantable device, you're going to have a digital ID. All right. And the digital ID is basically a digital version of your physical ID that's stored on a device. So here, a couple of days ago, Apple introduces digital ID, a new way to create and present an ID in Apple Wallet. And the way Esau, Edom is going to convince people to get down with this new agenda is by convenience and fear. All right. During the Biden administration, you had an influx of migrants flooding to the Americas. And if you can remember, you know, they was receiving EBT. They was receiving cash aid. They was receiving hotel vouchers and all these different things Americans didn't have access to. And now with the Trump administration in office, you know, you seen ICE, you seen Border Patrol, you see these agents going around, you know, pretty much getting these migrants and taking them to detention centers to have them soon taken to the land of their nativity. And in order for those migrants to have access to those programs, they have to get into the system. You know, they have to do the digital ID. They have to do the biometrics, the eye scan, the fingerprint scan, right? They have to get in the system. And that's how those agents was able to find them, because, you know, they using technology called Palantir. They using all this sophisticated tech to track and trace these individuals. But, you know, eventually the Americans, in order to keep your lifestyle, you got to be down with it. And us, even in the faith. All right, we're going to have to adapt to the digital ID, digital money. But where we draw the line at is putting that technology in us. So let's continue reading this. It says digital ID offers a secure and private way for users to create an ID in Apple Wallet. You see the word secure there. So, you know, they're threatening the possibility of, you know, your identity can be stolen from foreign hackers. It could be a T attack, a cyber attack that can destroy the DMV system or Social Security, and you can find yourself being without the benefits. So they're gonna use fear to push their agenda. It says digital ID offers a secure and private way for users to create an ID in Apple Wallet using information from their U.S. passport and present their ID with iPhone or Apple Watch. And these major corporations, Apple, Android, Amazon, these big tech companies, they're going to be, in order for you to get them packages sent, in order for you to work a job, in order for you to have the latest and greatest technology, you're going to have these things, man. And even when it comes to YouTube, soon you're going to have to present an ID, a digital ID to use YouTube, use Instagram, because they want to make sure it's you that's using it. All right. It says Apple today announced the launch of digital ID, a new way for users to create an ID in Apple Wallet using information from their U.S. passport and present it with the security and privacy of iPhone and Apple Watch. All right, the MOTB system, and MOTB is short for Mark of the Beast. The system is already here. The infrastructure is already here. For you to be able to tap your phone on an electronic pay pad, the little electronic, POS is what they call point of sale, and purchase something, that infrastructure is already here. They just want to get this into you, okay? And we've done so many lessons on this, but this is an update. It says, at launch, digital ID acceptance will roll out first in beta at TSA checkpoints. So they starting at the airports. At more than 250 airports in the U.S. for in-person identity verification during domestic travel. And now, in order for you to travel domestically meaning within the states, you got to have a so-called real ID. All right, which a passport is considered a real ID, or you have, to go through these particular measures with the DMV to get your, show them verification that, you are who you say you are, and then you get a particular new ID with a certain stamp on it. All right, that's the real ID. It says domestic travel with additional digital ID acceptance use cases to come in the future. Digital ID gives more people a way to create and present an ID in Apple Wallet, even if they do not have a real ID, compliant driver's license, or state ID. Digital ID is not a replacement for any physical passport and cannot be used for international travel and border crossings in lieu of the U.S. passport. The point is, Apple has this infrastructure within its technology, these devices, where you can upload your digital ID and your passport. This is segueing to the MOTB system. And as always, we're constantly in Revelation 13, Revelation 14, these various chapters in the book of Revelation that speaks about this technology being pushed. When you go to Revelation 13 and 16, it says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive technology in their right hand or in their forehead. So Esau, all right, when we talk about these Edomites, we're addressing the global elites, the individuals that's in a position of power, controlling the world and wickedness. All right, he's going to have something happen to where in order for you to operate in this society, you have to get this technology. And you also have the technology that go on your forehead called NLink. It says, in that no man might buy or sell save he that had the tech. So this technology deals with commerce. All right. And, I remember, when you had to pay for something with your credit card or your debit card, you used to have to present your ID with it. I remember a long time ago with Bank of America, they had your ID, a photo picture of you attached to the debit card. So your identity and your monetary and your identity and you being able to buy and sell is linked, or was once linked. All right. Even when you write a check, remember back in the day, your parents would write a check at the grocery store. It had your name on there, your address, your banking information. So Esau Edom has always linked your ID with buying and selling. And with Apple introducing this digital ID, eventually, all right, this is going to be the standard. All right, and we speculate some type of event happen, some type of economic collapse and crash happen, to where in order for you to get your so-called life back, you got to get this technology in you to for us to verify that you are who you say you are. But Revelation 13:17, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the tech or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Now the name of the beast, this beast is talking about this kingdom or rulership, and the name that's on it is Esau Edom. So if you get penetrated or you allow these devils to go inside you with that tech, you taking on the name of the beast. And when you read Isaiah 34, it speaks about these Edomites, or Idumea, which is the Greek way of saying Edom, that these are the people of the Most High cursed to judgment. So you take this tech, you're going to get judged. You're going to get destroyed. Here's wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and this number is 603, which ultimately goes in the UPC code, the Universal Product Code, because with all this technology is linked with a unique number to identify who you are specifically. And once that device goes into your skin, it's going to have that same technology. Now, when we go to the next chapter, which is Revelation 14, we see that there's a judgment for those who take this technology. And as we stand upon our watch, we have to warn the sincere believers not only that there's judgment that comes with taking that technology and to not take it, but also let the sincere believers of Yahushua know that, look, we in these times, man. See, the Yahushua ain't going to overtake us like a thief, because we've been watching. We've been keeping up with this. But those who are without, getting distracted by bread and circus, entertainment, the cares of this life, these things is going to creep on them unawares. This is Revelation 14:9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his technology in his forehead or in his hand. So it's addressing those that submit to the system, that have respect for the system, that fear this system, because that's what worship really goes into, having a great respect for this kingdom, because you love it. The prophecies speak about the elect love not their lives unto death, meaning they don't love the current rulership. They don't love their lifestyle here. It's not that they hate themselves. It's just that the current rulership is contrary to righteousness. It's a whole bunch of wickedness here, and we got to constantly do what Yahushua said in the Gospels, turning your cheek. Meaning we can't exercise judgment according to our laws, statutes, and commandments. We got to just roll with the punches. But the point is, it says the same in verse 10, shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High. Those that take this technology, you're going to get destroyed. Which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So those that get destroyed, those who take this technology, they're going to get destroyed by Yahushua. And when this technology gets pushed out, it's going to be, which we're in the time of Jacob's trouble now, but it's going to intensify. This technology is going to look very, very desirable once your lifestyle is taken away, to you being able to buy and sell, get food, gas, pay rent, get insurance, your different basic necessities to sustain your program. This technology is going to look very desirable. But the prophecies speak about how the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. So entering into this era, we're going to have to detach and trust in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, man. Scripture speak about the just shall live by faith. All right, and part of having faith is believing that the Lord will come through for you in mysterious ways. He'll lift up a standard. That's why it's good to, going to, the different accounts of our forefathers and seeing how the Lord was with them. When you read about Abraham, all right, our forefather, the Lord told him to get from away from his people in the land of Haran, which is north of Israel, all right, in Syria. And told him, get from around those people, and I'm how you go basically into the land of Canaan, which later became the land of Israel. And then he ended up going into Egypt and then going back to the land of Israel. Basically, he had a pilgrimage and all kind of things was happening. It was a famine. You know, his girl got snatched up. You know, him and Lot, their companies, you know, they had some infighting, all these different trials and tribulations, but the Lord was with Abraham, you know. So when you read them different accounts, it's supposed to build you up, build up the inward man, build up your spirit, so you can be, you know, prepared for these times, which, you know, is the only way we can be prepared is have faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, because we don't know what's going to be brought upon us. But the point is, you know, you got to get built up in Yahushua. You know, pray for strength, endurance, faith, because things are going to get shaky as Esau starts rolling out his program. All right, and things going to speed up, man. You know, one day we're going to be reading about this digital ID, and the next is going to be some type of event to where you can't access your information, and bam, Esau in position to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, to get that technology in their hands. So this is just an update, a new way to create and present an ID. All right, and it's going to be digital. Everything is going digital. This is the MOTB system. All right, you have the system. You have with computer tech and technology, you have hardware and you have software, and they both work together. The software is the digital part. You know, the system, the computer that reads the information, and then you have the hardware, which is the physical device that allows you to have the digital system recognize the hardware, and to give you a basic understanding of that is a memory card. You have a memory card, which is like a small chip. That's the physical that's the hardware. And it goes into the computer, and then the software, the computer system, it reads the hardware and is able to communicate with each other. So the software is already here. The digital infrastructure is already here. Esau just wants to put the hardware, the physical part in you, so you can link yourself to that system. And those who do that will get destroyed by Yahweh Shai. So I'm going to leave it at that. Lord willing, this was edifying to the Lord's elect. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Kakwadash, and double honors to our elders and apostles, a great millstone that taught us the truth. Shalom, I can stay watching.